Welcome to another edition of DARF TV. This is Hassan. Today joining me is screenwriter extraordinaire Kirkland Morris. Give it up for my boy Kirk. So Kirk, man, actually me and Kirk go way back. You know, I just want to give a little side story. Kirk actually pledged me. As you see, he's rocking his Alpha t-shirt, you know, A5. OI, you know what I'm saying? That's the only chapter that matters. But anyway, no. But anyway,
oh man.
So we go way back since college, but Kirk out there in Hollywood doing this thing as a screenwriter. So I'll start there, Kirk, man. Just tell people a little bit about yourself, man, and like your journey and how you even got out to LA doing what you're doing.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy because back at DePaul, I ran into a bunch of you characters there. That's probably the first thing that got me started. I was like, I gotta do something with these people here, man. So I was going to go to law school actually. But I knew I liked film. They say when I was younger that I didn't watch Sesame Street. I was watching black and white movies. The only thing made me sit down. And I was really young. And I still like black and white movies to this day, actually. But as I got closer to getting out of DePaul, and I was like, man, I still want to hit this law school. Then I kept thinking like, man, what I wonder about this movie thing. I always love movies. I wonder what this thing is about. So I think you was on the set too, matter of fact, when we first went down to Columbia for one of the projects to give us our first taste of Hollywood.
I
was. Oh, man. Boy, so we was doing this, and then the one we worked with there too, he told me, you know, the most you ever make in Hollywood is $50,000. But at the time, I'm like, well, shoot, $50,000 sound good to me with these loans about to become due, you know?
Right.
But so I started looking into that, and then I was like, I wonder if I could do this. And I had my god sister was out here, and I said maybe I could hang with her and get on my feet and see if I can give this thing a try. And I applied for what was called the Cosby program, but I'm not sure if you can even say that now. But it was called the Marvin Miller.
I remember some of the Cosby stories you shared with me. That's when I found out that Bill Cosby cussed.
Oh. Yes. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. That's a night to remember right there. And so I hopped a train, and they always ask me, why didn't you fly? And I said, because for 3 days I had somewhere to live. Because I had nowhere but. So when I got here, it's all kind of stuff. They've been trying to get me to write a comedy about my experience when I first got here. And it's been torture. But I actually finally wrote it. I just haven't shown it to anybody. It's I use it as therapy. When for the moment I landed, man, everything was bad. Like I didn't see the episode of Cops for Hollywood. I thought Hollywood was all pretty, and then I get here in this little motel and I see an episode of Cops. I was right around away from where I was at. It just broke everything I thought. I was like, you gotta be kidding me, man. So yeah, I was in the Motor Inn and I applied for that program. I threw everything away just to tell people, like when I was first getting here, I was thinking in my head, like, no one's gonna pick me for your writing program. I figured it was rigged. I'm not trying. So I threw everything away, the application, everything. I threw it away. Then I joined an organization called Organization of Black Screenwriters. And I ran into the woman who was a part of that program. She said, hey, did you fill out for the program? I said, well, I did, but nah, I threw everything away. So I refilled it all out and I got into the program. And yeah, and I met a lot of people when I was there. I met a lot of people in the Organization of Black Screenwriters. And then I got off track a little bit later on because you start trying to chase that grind. Like, man, how am I survive here? And you like, man, how am I keep the lights on while you do your dream? So if I could do it over, I would have become a lawyer first. Had that financially, I'd been solidified. And then on weekends, I would have did my dream until I could replace the one with the other. So like my kids, I try to make it easier for them to understand, look, Monday through Friday, you do your whatever you're doing to survive. Weekends for sure, if not doing the week 2 after you're done with your regular job, do your dream. So after a while, you're going to switch that around and your dream becomes your week. And then you can do, whatever you need to do from there. So I was in Countrywide, which it was, the basis of the whole entire country being collapsed. I was over there for all that. Actually, we was telling them during that time, but I also be writing now, so I ain't got sidetracked because I started making money in this mortgage business.
Right.
And it wasn't until they had a thing called the Funder of the Month. So I funded $85 million in loans by myself one month, and I won top funder. So thought they was gonna give me part money for it, right? So they pulled some kind of thing about you a temp or whatever, and they cut me out of that. So I made $85 million for somebody else, and I got a box of cookie dough. I was like, you ain't gonna even make the damn cookies? You just give me the. They weren't even chocolate chip either. They was oatmeal or something. I was like, you can't even make the damn cookie. Oh yeah, you think that gets better? You supposed to put a top hat on when you the funder. You supposed to put a top hat on.
You better stop. You better stop.
Who? They want that, man. I looked at the head boss, like the head guy. He had that top hat. I just looked at him. He just put it away. I mean, I wish you would put. I wish you would put that top hat on.
You're gonna start tap dancing for him now.
I'm gonna tap dance. Are you kidding? So what I did was I got smarter. I like to take the night shift because the boss will leave around 5. And I said, okay, you want to play me on 85 mil? I talk to everywhere I go. I get to know the IT person because I got them to put my writing software on their computers.
Right.
So while I was at work finishing my job, they thought it took 8 hours. I could finish in 2. I would write the last 6 hours. I said, I'm gonna fix y'all. So I would be writing. I'll be writing. They be going home, and I'll just be writing. So it was there though. Another thing happened. A brother was in the mailroom, and I always tell people some people come out here, they discount people just because of who they are. Because he work in the mailroom, because you're a gardener. Some of the best connects I ever got was through people like them. Because it was the brother in the mailroom who I was with who came up to me one day and said, yo, I know you writing. My sister on the radio in Louisiana, and she could get a script of 50. So now I'm stereotyping in my head like, okay, she can get a script of 50, but I don't really write what I assumed is the only thing he did.
Right.
I don't really write that. So me being me though, I don't miss the opportunity. I said, come by my house. I'm gonna give you 2 scripts to send to your sister. Make sure.
Right.
And I gotta tell you, I was proud of my people because before the real advent of this email, you still had to physically mail things.
Yeah.
The brother came by and got my mail package. Went to the post office that day and mailed it to his sister. She turned around and mailed it up the East Coast, and it landed on 50 desks, just like she said.
That's dope, bro.
It's crazy. It's crazy. And people dismiss people, and I'm like, that guy in the mailroom is the reason why I got my break, because they weren't gonna give me one. So it was because of him. And then the legend has it that 50 came off of a tour, a 40-something country tour, sat down at his desk at 5 a.m, opened my script up, and didn't get up till he finished it. Wow. He liked it. Yeah, and I got a call from him like on a Thursday, and then we had to go through the whole thing because I didn't believe it was him. You don't think he calling you? Who's gonna call me on a Thursday like, yo, this 5th? Yeah, I'm Snoop. What? Once you go through all that, then he started quoting me like you used to do. You read some of my stuff, and only certain people read certain things where I know if they say something like, oh, they read it. Yeah. He started quoting me stuff from deep in the script. I was like, oh, wait a minute, hold on.
Yeah, right.
I was like, so from that Thursday, he said, I'll be out there Monday, and I want to meet you. I was like, all right, where we meeting at? And then at that point, he had took over the death row office. So I'm all about that spiritual connect stuff. I'm like, not the death row office. That just can't be good. That can't be good for me, man.
Get off the balcony or something. No,
yeah, man. I'm like, come on, man. You gonna shake me down for the one script I got? Like, come on, man. Really? So what's funny was I think in the long run, I didn't know how it was gonna turn out because they had sent me this contract, and I was taking courses for paralegal. So I actually redlined my own contract when they first gave it to me. So I was like, I'm gonna have to give it to them because otherwise they're gonna run over me.
Right.
So I redlined it and sent it back, and I thought that was it. You know how we do. I'm like, well, if it wasn't supposed to be, then so what? I wasn't planning on it anyway.
Right.
Although I was like, now I'm getting, so I'm still not understanding 50 at all because I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So he hit me up and come on down. I come down to death row. I'm waiting in the lobby. They, get usually people that be with them that do all the extra stuff a lot. They be mean muggy, and I'm laughing because I'm older than all of them. I'm like, I ain't got time for this. Mm-hmm. So I go in the back with 50 and the other guy, and everybody's it's kind of Hollywood stuff at first. And man, I was like, meanwhile, I got one suit now. I got this one suit I had in my closet. I refused to throw away. Oh, it gets worse. I had one suit. Hey, it was a little too tight. And the moths, I didn't know some moths had ate my legs up, son, right?
No.
I I kid you not. While I'm sitting there with this blue suit on, I look at my thigh and I'm like, where did I get brown in this blue suit? And I start looking around. I'm like, these damn monsters ate my suit. And so that was my thigh showing through my suit. So I put my hand over that as I went. He called. As soon as he did, he walked on the elevator. I was like, oh no. I kept my hands. I walked with my hands on my thighs till I got to the office. Oh, it get better. And so I'm sitting there with him and the one other guy in Hollywood. This Hollywood guy, you know, I never really did care for him anyway, but it comes back around full circle. So we sitting in there, and I just want to get past all that Hollywood stuff. So I stopped everybody. I was like, look, I got one suit and I got a hole in my right sock. Now that's everything I got for you, right? That's everything on tape. Man, when I said that, it was quiet in there.
Yeah.
And then 50 just bust up and started laughing. Everything clicked. At that moment, I guess he realized I can mess with him because
right.
This fool here, you know, he liked to laugh and stuff. People see certain things, and now I'm starting to understand, like, oh, okay, oh, I get it. Okay, I get it. He got this whole other side because he liked to laugh, man. He liked a good joke. Oh, you have a field day with him. Oh, y'all, you be laid out messing with you, man.
People don't think I'm that funny no more, Kirk. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, but yeah, okay.
I'm more serious now. I'm more mature now.
They'll find out because we gonna be coming to Chicago, so we gonna get together. So we'll be there. Yeah, we'll be there with. I'll be there, and 50 will be there too. So I'll make sure all y'all that was in that game, all y'all get the chance to holler at him. But yeah, from there, he let me know he's a fan of mine, and that he just stayed with me. Mm-hmm. They will fall off because I realized something about rich people. When poor people mess with rich people, 1 year is like 1 day to them. So you be like, well, what happened? They just ghosted me. And out of nowhere, they'll call you and be like, man, how you doing, man? What's going on? What you mean, what's going on? I'm waiting on you so I can get on, man. Right. So out the blue, he called me like 8 or 9 months went by, I think. And I was like, okay, whatever then. I guess it just wasn't for me. And then I get a call. And he said, call me down to this place. And he put me on this project today. Mm-hmm. I was like, whoa, first project. I knew it was real when we got them checks. I was like, oh, you know how long I've been working for free? You know how we doing this business.
Right. Exactly.
Everybody be like, this the one that can get you. This the one. Man, I don't want to hear that no more. This ain't nobody getting us nothing.
Right.
That was real. And then later on, he called me back again to be on the Big Meech and Terry Flannery story, BMF. That got picked up. It'll be coming out. Well, COVID pushed everything back some. But yeah, we did BMF. We did 8 episodes of BMF, and then
that's on Stars too, right?
That'll be on Stars.
Yeah. Okay.
And then he got I'm on spinoff of Power. Tommy's. I'm on the Tommy spinoff now.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, I'm on Tommy spinoff now. So they got Power Book 2. We're Power Book 5.
That's what it's gonna be called, Power Book 5.
No, I'm sure that probably end up changing as well right now. But there's Power. It will be something, but it'll be in the Power universe, of course.
Right, because at least at the end of Power, didn't Tommy go to like LA or something? Didn't he say he was going to LA? Okay.
Yep.
And you probably can't give too much away, but that's where it's going to be set, like on a Tommy's LA store.
Yeah, it's all about Tommy trying to get it in.
Okay.
He's going to get it in. You know how he do.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, and I like it because we get a chance to expand upon his character that you saw. So you just kind of saw him doing his grunt work and doing his thing, but he actually had a lot of intelligence that we get a chance to expand on now to give him to give him some room. So I expect that to be. We got some characters for you.
Okay. So, all right. So you gave us the journey of how you got to where you are now, and I mean that's dope that you're working on 2 shows like that. And I guess 50 did keep his word because they're both 50 affiliated shows, right?
He did.
But take people in the writer's room. What is that like? What is that feeling like? Are y'all like tossing out ideas? Or do you write a little something, but then another screenwriter something, and then y'all compare notes? Like, how does it go?
And, it's like a lot of other things. It's like every different job, every room is different because it's all made up of different personalities. So your showrunner is the one that's guiding the entire room. It starts from the showrunner down. So I was also blessed enough that the first room I was in was being run by a brother. Randy Huggins, straight out of Detroit. Yeah. So that gave me we connected like it was always something that me and him could feel.
It's that Detroit-Chicago connection, bro.
It was that Detroit-Chicago connection, man, all day.
You know what I'm saying? People don't understand that. It's
No, they don't.
synergy between Detroit and Chicago. It's like a quiet little, like fun-loving beef, but it's a cool beef. It ain't like
true.
Nobody get killed over it. We just have fun.
Yeah, we clicked, man. It was great. It was just that. So that gave me another. I always tell 50 he laugh at me, but I was like, working under him, I experienced black privilege. Right now, it sounds funny at first, right? So, because I had to start to think about it, I was like, before I walked in the room, I'm like, man, how they gonna take it if I got something to say about certain things? I didn't know. I heard a lot of stories,
right?
But he looked at me. He said, "I'm putting you in that room. I always believed in you. When you walk in that room, you don't never put your head down ever. You there for a reason, just like everybody else." And he was like, "Don't ever worry about nothing when you're in the room." And so it gives you another feeling that you can be more free. And it just happened that Randy just helped me out because Randy being for Detroit, that just made it gel even more. So I ain't had to worry about some issues you get. You got some people come in and you come in there and they sure don't expect you to just shut up. And they gonna run their thing, and that's that. So I was able to come to a room and learn. We had a lot of crazy stuff happen that I needed to learn. That it was the best way for me to learn for all the craziness that happened under this brother there. Because now, we all got along. It was like, you know what I mean? So there's a lot of crazy stuff that I needed to learn. So you moved to a different room. Robert Munich is over this room. He's a good leader too. It just gave me a different experience with them in this room. Yeah. But, both of my rooms been great though, because their personalities clicking. So sometimes we vibing. You want to, you get in the rhythm. You spitting out. You trying to get the ideas that work right. But you get a lot of crazy ideas too. Usually put them on the wall when they too crazy. And you'd be surprised when you come back to them because you need it. It works later on. But it's just been fun for me because my journey was there so long to get there. I didn't care what happened. I was ready. Let's get it.
I mean, well, you know how I personally feel. I feel you've been ready since day one. You know what I'm saying? So I read your personal scripts and stuff. I don't want to get too much into the scripts, but
I think you go back the furthest. I think you go back the furthest, especially with people that know what I did. And most that stuff about that no one's ever heard of here.
Now,
never heard of.
Is this a rumor? I can't even remember. It's been so long. But didn't you write one of your first Hollywood scripts, and it was about it was like something about the Holocaust, but it was how I believe a Jewish person was disguised as a German or something like that. They accept it, but then they found out they was like, "You wrote this," and then they send you back.
Oh yes, from the house to the gate. No, you're right. You're right. You're absolutely right. It was from the house to the gate. That was the name of it. That was from the house to the gate. It was it was a drama based on some events I made up, and it was getting love. It was getting a lot more love, but when I started looking at this one board where they could speak about it, and I was seeing the different languages. It was so dope to see all these people responding. But then someone asked me, and it was kind of odd though when they realized I was black.
Right.
It kind of fell off some. So I was like, we here, we've been through a lot. Whatever, there's not enough to discuss, mess with me about that. But it's just we was already ready for that kind of stuff anyway.
Yeah.
People have their own reasons, and maybe for their own reason, they want the same reason we want our people to tell our stories. They want them people to tell their stories too. Yeah. So I never sweat none of that. I get, but yes, that piece I told you go back way back.
I know that's like fresh out of DePaul, right?
That was way. I had one company that was telling me that they was trying to decide at the time. They was actually talking about that movie I wrote in the same sentence with Schindler's List. I almost left the meeting. I just couldn't believe it. I was like, "What? You can't be talking about." I was like, "What?" So it was that made me feel good. But yeah, I haven't done anything with that film actually yet. But it is one of my prized pieces I love.
Question for you, and you might not even want to talk about it, but I'm gonna make you talk about it. If somebody came and said, "Look, I got a budget. I want to independently put out one of your projects, one of your scripts. We got the money. Don't worry about the money. Which one of your scripts you going with first, and why?"
I will go with a horror film because you can make a horror film for $30 and still walk out with 80 mil. Because horror, it doesn't take a lot for people to understand. No matter where I go in the world, if I raise a hatchet up, you're gonna be like, "Okay, I got to go." It don't matter what language you speak. Unlike comedy is the hardest because you gotta say what's funny. Like we said, what's funny to them? You raise that hatchet up anywhere in the world and come at somebody and watch. So I would do that. Actually, that's one of the things we talk about now. I got a real good friend out here. I like my brother Neil Pogue. I might have mentioned Neil to you before too, though.
Many times. The engineer, right?
Okay. Yes, Neil. He used to always be like, Kirk, get the money. They're gonna give you enough money to do them, then do them. But I ain't want $800,000 to do no horror film. I still want it the equivalent of $30. Because if I can prove it with 30,
right,
you're gonna write your whole ticket after that.
That's absolutely true.
So that's why I always been about. So yeah, so some of those independent, yeah, it would be a horror film because I know that we can turn that around, and I'm all about like what. Remember, I used to tell you it's gonna be a renaissance where black horror was gonna come. I was so shocked to see that when the Get Out and them started coming out, I was like, well, here we go.
You actually went to my next question. Do you think Jordan Peele is like the manifestation of literally what you was talking about, like how you make a movie for a certain smaller budget, but then it blows up and now you write your own ticket? Because I feel like Jordan Peele is literally writing his own ticket now.
He is right, and it's kind of a few things came together. The fact that no one was really seeing people of color in those type of films either. Like you got to go back to blaxploitation, the Blackula and all, our pieces we had like that. But then now we weren't seeing it, and then it had the nerve to be a really good film. So it messed around. They discovered they can make some money here. On top of this, like, wait a minute.
Right.
So that's the thing. I'm glad he did it right. I'm glad he did it right. So now he broke open the whole wave. So now it's a whole big change happening anyway. So that it's a good time.
Do you feel like the energy has changed in Hollywood for black writers? Because you got like Lena Waithe doing her thing. You got Jordan doing his thing as a writer and a producer. You got Kenya Barrett doing his thing. So do you feel like this is the beginning of that renaissance you was kind of describing for black writers?
Yes. I think we're in a really good time now. And people are listening different. Piece to George Floyd and all the other ones that, and in so many ways, came to push this moment forward as well, without even having any idea that that's what they would be doing. So it changed. A lot of that really pushed through where there was this big push, like we got to up the diversity. We got to try to do. Now, some of them still skimp by trying to pretend like they like the word, but they don't do anything. But I can see it in a lot of the other stuff that's going on here behind the scenes. I can see it.
You actually see it, and it seems real to you too.
Yeah, it's real. It's real. I can see right now. I can see it's moving, and the more and more we push towards more people that start to get back into like the Black Wall Street energy, you're gonna see further things that's gonna start to happen on other levels. I'm seeing. That's what I like about hip hop. A lot of times they look at the culture now and they're like, oh, look at them, look at what they're wearing. But it's a lot of them that's putting their money back into the communities.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a lot of them that's doing that. That's some of them need to make sure they have a lineup so they can do it correctly. But that's where their mindset is. They got the money, and I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna build.
And speaking of that, putting money and stuff back into the community, and I'm sure people who know you that's in the same writer's room as you, because I know when I was living out there in LA, especially toward the end, I got this question all the time. Hey, bro, what's going on in Chicago, man? What's up with your city? Like people referring to the violence and stuff that they see, and it's made national news now.
Yeah.
One, do you ever get that question while you being out there? And two, if you get it, like, how do you even explain it to them? Or how do you explain the energy of Chicago to people that really don't know if they never lived here?
Well, first of all, they can't talk about the Chi anyway. So, of course, the media, I try to school them a little bit. Like, it's just like anything else you do. It's how you perceive it through what the media is telling you. Anyway, there's a lot of other places. I mean, it's not really number one just because of the last political. It's not even really number one. But either way it go, to me, it's bad. I don't like what's going on. And step further, I think that all the soldiers that we're gonna need are the ones that's in the streets. We just gotta get their minds right, because those are a lot of our soldiers actually that we'll have that's there. But I just try to school them. Like they was out here, same thing you're saying. They spoke about Compton. I always hook up with whoever I can. I got a guy that's like the ambassador to Compton. He's the ambassador to all the gangs. He's one of the ones working. So they'll be in these rooms sometimes talking stuff like they seen one thing. They watched Boys in the Hood, and they assume that it all like that. So you see Chicago, it's all like that. I say, no, it's not. You don't step up the airplane and got to start ducking and crawling to your home.
Right.
It's like, you know what I mean? It's just like, it's like a lot of other places you go. But I was like, I told somebody, well, wait a minute, I got to do this here, but if I come to your neighborhood, the police stop me 5 times in one day when I come through there. So what perspective are we talking about here?
Very
You
true.
know,
Very
so the
true.
media, right? So I always just had to tell them about Chicago. It's a beautiful city. It goes through changes like everybody else going through changes. You know how we do though. You know, I don't like that. Some people, I don't even waste my energy on the basis from where a lot of it comes from. I don't even really waste my energy on that anymore. I can already tell, like, I don't have time. I'm not trying to change your mind. I really don't give a damn. Just don't get in our way.
Yeah, understood that.
I don't got time for that, man.
I was gonna ask you that too, man. So speaking about like about don't get in our way, perceptions and things of that. What do you think, man, of like if it were you, how would you carry on the Black Panther legacy with with the passing of Chaz Boseman? That's pretty much what I'm trying to ask because there's been a lot of talk about that.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't get to meet. I really wanted to meet him too because he really was as good as the spirit. I could always just never a bad word about him, but like in that form, it's all about us doing what I see the programs that you guys have. It's got to be a grassroots effort. It's not going to be this just a social media and they're going to listen. No, they're not trying to hear that. So it's about going back into these communities. I still think there's a lot of power in community centers done right because I still feel that you can get to a lot of the youth, even if you bring them in. I had an idea once we were saying, you might remember back in the day, we was like, we're going to do community centers where we lace in some of the hip hop they love, but without the words. So while we're in there and they doing whatever they're doing, we draw them in, and then maybe we can switch over to some of the speeches and stuff from all these people that was before us, and let that just kind of play in the background while they doing their little studies time or whatever they're doing. Just start to breed it, you know what I mean? Just start to get it going. The other part is really purely economic. If no one's going to change, you can't get an economic base. Why would I do that? And I can go out here and make up, you know what I mean? So it's like I tell people, we're in a really big home that has a lot of different fires burning at the same time, which is why we have to go and put out this one. And then we think we put out that one, and even with our own people, we get into the discussions of these levels all the time. Like, I can't stand the thing about, I understand when people do it, but I can't stand to hear Black people need to start loving each other more. See, this is what I got a problem with, right? Because most of Black people aren't doing that. Okay, so when I went to DePaul in sociology, labeling was one of the first things they talked about.
Yep.
You label yourself stuff, and from there it goes down, right? So I use the example back at point. Cabrini Green had 3% of all the people. It was only 3% committing all the violence at one point at Cabrini Green. So if I come out telling them, y'all need to love each other better, I'm telling 97% of these people ain't got nothing to do with it to carry this weight that don't belong to them.
Yep.
And from there, you see what I'm saying? So from there, you start to be like, oh yeah, and you get yourself down and down and down, and it's like, no, we got to deal with that 3%, but don't let this talking labeling game be a part of this weight. We shouldn't. Don't spread that. Don't pick it up and carry it for them either, because then we all jump on the bandwagon to sound good from afar. But you
just to the choir, bro. I was just talking to a sister the other day about this. She was like, when Black men get powerful, whatever, Black men always marrying white women. I was like, that's just not true. I was like, 85% of Black men are married to Black women. So I was just like, you're literally falling for the narrative that they push. I was like, you're blaming the 85% for the 15% that are doing that. And I was like, and honestly, if they really want to do that, let them do that. You know what I'm saying? I was just basically telling her, I was just like, we often do that. We take the whole weight of the very few of us that are doing things that either society or we don't deem honorable, and then next thing you know, that is our story. Like that becomes our whole story. I'd be like, that's
absolutely it is.
And we're so diverse within our own communities. We're so and that's another thing I'm always telling. I was like, we're not all the same. We all don't even think alike. I was just like, surprise. Guess what? I was like, I might think differently from my brother. You know what I'm saying? And we grew up in the same household. But just
that's true. It's just true. Yes. It depends where you came from, like a lot of times, you look at like, some of the people you're like, okay, I can't really go in like I used to I'll go in, because now I have to step back and think to myself, what perspective are they coming from? Because am I gonna go at somebody that doesn't even understand what we're talking about and turn them off to even listening? Because I'm already saying I can't stand you for your choice you decide to make. You ain't nothing but a coon or whatever. You know what I mean? I grew up a little bit more about that, and because I had a lot of interesting discussions with even like Black Republicans, Black Democrats, and it don't matter. We have a discussion. Let me see what you're about first, and then we ain't gotta get to that part. If it ain't, if your core not set, there's no point in me talking about any of the rest of it.
Absolutely. And now that we on the topic of like mindsets and stuff like that, I've always felt like you've had a different mind. You know what I'm saying? And I mean that like it's a good thing because it allows you to be the creative that you are. So my question is, man, like I've heard stories from you that I've never heard in Hollywood. I'm talking about your script writing now and stuff like that. I go back like we talked about, like Phineas, the dolphin story, and how Atlantis was like the original kingdom, and all that crazy stuff that you come up with. So my question pretty much is, what inspires you? Like where do these concepts and these different things that you think of come from? Like you said, you love horror. You've got some great scripts like that. You love suspense thrillers. I've read like stuff that's comedic from you. So how do you get that diversity actually just like that to create and do what you do?
Now, that's a great question. It took me a while to figure out where it came from. And then I realized it's also another piece we need in the community. I realized when I was younger, my dad every summer would pack us up in the camper and take us to a new state to visit, right? So I'm not thinking much of it at the time, but every summer I couldn't wait for summer to come, man. And I'm like, we finna hit the road. Mm-hmm. So I only got a few states left. I'll be done with all of the United States. But I saw a commercial come on where the kid went camping. Everything the kid did followed him home. And that's the best way to explain it. He had saw bears, Mount Rushmore, all the stuff he had sent, the kid was walking home, and everything his experience was walking in behind him. That's the best way for me to put it. Yeah. Everything that I had seen had allowed me to understand. Because I had people that was like, what you writing a Black horror film for? Black people don't go to cabins. Black people don't camp. Black people. I was like, see, here you go. Now, you're not telling somebody that's actually done that, to telling me that none of us do it.
Right.
I'm like really though? So, but it's just part of the whole thing that they was brainwashed with as well. So I had to credit it for traveling every summer and seeing things that let me understand the possibilities that was out there. Mm-hmm. That's what I really credit my dad taking us, logging the family. Let's go. I missed those trips, man. I might get a chance to make one more. Since you speak of one more trip, we might be able to make. And we might, ride from one end of the country to the other.
Oh, that'd be dope. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm coming too, though, right? No.
No, that should be a show. We should get a big motorhome and put the people we know on it and start from one side of the country and see who's still on the bus by the time we get to the other side of the country.
I'll be down. That'd be a good show. I'll be the last person because I already know I'm gonna get
I will have you on there. You definitely would be on that bus for real all day.
So you, like you said, you took all those life lessons and they followed you, and that's how you became a writer and stuff, like that, and that's what inspired you. But I was also want to ask you, you talked about your journey. If somebody was interested in getting in the game now as a screenwriter, some young kid coming from Chicago, maybe kind of go out to LA to do their thing, what kind of advice would you give them?
Be sure of yourself first. You better be sure of yourself first, because as much as I did have myself prepared, I even found myself at a certain point, it's just your endurance against the journey. Mm-hmm. Because you start to be like, well, wait a minute. You be seeing other people way worse getting opportunities. You'd be like, wait a minute, hold on. You'd be helping some people that'll then go on, and then, you still looking around like, wait a minute. So I would tell them first, but they got to know their craft too. That's another thing. Sometimes you have one person tell you something that's good and you want to live with that because you always want to hear something good. Mm-hmm. But I never came from that. They used to say, don't let your family read your scripts, right? Mm-hmm. But my sister's not like the rest of them. My sister, you might remember this, her first notes to me was a footprint on the front of my script. Wow. And I thought she had dropped it by accident and had stepped on it. So I called her. I was like, I don't see the notes. Where are the notes for me to work on it? She said, oh, no, the notes on there. I said, no, I don't see no notes, sis. She's like, no, it's on the front. I said, but it's just a footprint. That's the notes. Man. So then I knew I could go to my sister because she's not finna blow no smoke. Right. She's not, and then study what you need to do first too. Like I tell them, this is my sport and I train every day.
Mm.
So no matter what I do, I write every day. You know, I'm gonna write and know what I'm doing because I originally with DePaul, the first script I found was The Crow, the movie The Crow. But sometimes they'll put them on the website and it's all left justified. Well, that's not how a script's supposed to look, but I didn't do my homework. So I wrote my script left justified when I first started. And it got all the way to HBO just to show you the chances you get. And they were so mad at me that lady wrote me this scathing letter. She was like, quit now, save us the trouble for telling you later. It was all that kind of stuff, man. She gave that to me. I was still at the parlor at the time when that happened. I was like, man, that's tough, right? Like,
hey,
quit.
It's a great lesson, no? Great lesson.
It was a great lesson. Some people can't deal with that kind of like the Wayne sister. That's the story about her. She couldn't stand. She would cry when they had to read her script. She'd sit there and be crying because everybody from their own experience can't take no one telling you this or that, you know. But I learned early. You get a tough thing. I got stuff I keep close to me. I can go out and try to sell something that they do like, so I can get enough money to do my own. But I would tell these new writers, you know your craft. Be confident. You got to be confident, and you got to be willing to be able to put the time in if you need to, because a lot of people want to quit. You know, always that little meme they have with two people are in the mine, and one of them quit right before they would have broke through to the goal, and the other one kept. Is kind of like that. You like you don't want to. You got to be serious. If you think about doing the other thing, then you already gave up already. So you got to be sure. Like, yes. And then knew your craft. Like I had to go read books and I had to study and I wrote. Some people refuse to write. They write one thing, be like, no, let them buy it from me. Oh, is that what you're going to do? Oh, let them buy it from you? Okay. They don't got nobody else to buy from it. They already know. They're going to buy yours and then pay you to read. Okay. All right. So some people, like I try to tell them, I tell people all the time when they come to me like, Kirk, I want you to read this. I was like, do you want the truth or you want the Hollywood truth? Because the Hollywood truth is it's great, it's wonderful, and you know, peace be with you, you're gonna be rich. The real truth might be like my sister with that footprint. You gotta start over. Right. You gotta start over, man. So yeah, man, be confident, but know what you want to do. Read it, every bit, absorb it in every form of fashion. You know, watch everything you can. You know, understand how they're doing this, you know, and yeah, I didn't do that. I had to learn that the hard way so I could pass that now to the newer people. Like, you know, we ain't have that many mentors when I come here. You got a lot of people that's willing to mentor them now. Yeah, you have that, you know.
And you said read a lot, watch a lot of stuff. Yeah. Can you even, as a screenwriter, do you actually get enjoyment watching films or TV shows, or are you always critiquing it?
You know what? It's both. It's both, because now I got my wife messed up because now she's been around me so long. She don't have to feel watch now with her friends. So it's just, yeah, it is crazy like that because you got that eye. So a lot of times I tell myself, I'm just going to watch it this time just to try to watch because I'm one of the people that give certain things a break because I can see the genius that's there. And I just like, man, just a little bit more, you had it, you know, that kind of a thing. But then, you know, but yeah, I do. You kind of ruin yourself when it comes to that. But it's even greater though when you see stuff that works. You're like, wow, look at that, you know, because most of the stuff is not that great.
Right.
You know, you got to have a certain, like they got a budget to make a certain money back. So they got to grab a project just to fill a slot and hope that it makes money back. You know, they might make 9 movies, but they know 2, they might know 7 of them are garbage, but those other 2 are going to make so much money that the other ones don't matter.
Yeah, that's really true.
You know, and yeah, and don't be afraid to network, because I didn't network. I would collect business cards, but never called anybody. That was the thing. I met so many. I met the daughter of the owners of the Broncos one time, and she said, "Look, you could anytime you want to come to the game, here, just call me." And I never called. And I'm still scrambling. See, for me, my mind wasn't right because my base wasn't right.
Yeah.
That's how I know Rick James. I got invited to his barbecue. I didn't go, and I can never go now. I can never go.
Now, you missed that opportunity, bro.
I missed the opportunity. Man, I heard he had a slab of ribs so long, man. Yeah. You probably need his grill was so. He had the legendary grills, man. That was just so long. I'm like, how you get that up on that like that? What? So yeah, he was there. Tina Marie was there. So those opportunities I'll never get now. You know, I tell people when you come out here, you're trying to get in the flow of things. Don't be so quick to just, I got to build this for, because you might find that answer when you go somewhere else. You know, And that's what I would do more differently. I would actually call some of those numbers and speak to people, and I would just collect them and collect them.
Right.
And I had an afro. I was a. That's nothing. People think they don't get. They don't like to be humble now. A lot of them think they want it right away. I was a black man in Beverly Hills as a receptionist with an afro. When I was over there, they would stop by because they heard I was there with an afro, like I was an animal.
Are you serious?
Stop by. I am not playing. And I was the kind of person.
Kidding me, dog.
No, you just got there because nobody really be over there. Then like one guy got an afro, and the receptionist at the thing. So I'm over there as a receptionist, and then like I used to know, how we do. We get along with everybody. So there was like a plant. There's this guy that did the plants that never spoke. They told me the guy can't speak. He never speaks. And he spoke to me one day. I like to die. I thought I was.
Did you write a story about it?
Nope. I was just like, man, I like to die. He spoke to me. I was like, what? You can speak? We do. So I don't take anybody for granted because we got to the guy one time through his gardener. Because, a lot of them, they love the animals and the gardeners.
Yes, they do.
Everybody take care of their plants and stuff and the animals. Be cool. I tell the new people, look, don't discount nobody because you can't find a record of them online that they've done anything. A lot of your success you got is not even recorded.
Yeah.
So you go in there and we talked to the gardener. It turned out to be the gardener of a top agent at one of the biggest firms out here. That was their gardener, and they love their gardener.
And not only that, just out of human decency, you should just be nice to people. Just how I personally feel. I don't judge people by their status in society. It's just like if you cool, you cool. I'll talk to you.
That's how, and that's why these games recognize a lot of it because they're so used to the fake.
Mm-hmm.
It's so used to the yes thing, the yes this and we don't do that. We just like it's your core because if you ain't got a good core anyway, I don't really care about the rest of it. I don't really care. It's like whatever. I don't got no. I'm gonna give you energy for you. To be like you being, you ain't solved your own problem yet. You need to go talk to a therapist or something.
Right.
Life is short. Get it together.
Right.
And you can be all right. Then hey, whatever. How we do. You don't like us. You got a problem with us. Then it's probably something a little bit off because we pretty much get along with almost. That's what I tell my boy out here all the time. And like another brother. Speaking of that, I met a brother through another brother. And my boy got a deal at Nickelodeon. A black guy got a deal to do animation at Nickelodeon. And I knew him, and he was always a fan like you. I always the few people I got that I was like, okay, he's day one.
Mm-hmm.
He turns around now and becomes this big time showrunner now, and they're looking for somebody like, man, we got to get somebody to help us out. What are we gonna do? I remembered the meeting I had that a brother took me to, where another brother was at.
Mm-hmm.
And I suggested his name.
Right.
But when he ended up now after all the thing, pretty much I think he gonna get the job to become a showrunner for it now.
Mm-hmm.
And he was so shocked that I put his name on the table.
That's dope.
But that's what we gotta change. Exactly. That is what he was so genuinely happy about it. But I just at one point I stopped and just kind of like, oh. He really thanking me. Like he was like, I just didn't thought you would do it. I said, what? See, we got to correct that part.
Yep.
I'm supposed to do. How am I sit on that, and I don't even want to do what he's doing, and I'm gonna sit on the opportunity.
Right.
It doesn't make any sense. I mean, who are we preaching to about all this stuff? We do all this preaching, and we don't put it in the play.
Right.
I'm like, really? But it was just a great moment because now it was like all of them coming together. Y'all, the show will be on Nickelodeon. I'll make sure I give shout out. But I think Neil will be a part of them too. I need to come to get you too because they need that music for them. Yeah, you already know. You already know. So when I go get Neil. Yeah, cause I'm trying. I would love for you to get with Neil too. Oh,
look here, I've been asking you for years. Just put me in the script. I just want to be the black dude running.
I'm not talking to you. And that was so funny. You and it was you and Earl's cousin, only two. You said just let me run, and he said all he want to do is cut hair. Y'all the only two that ever didn't ask for no more than that. Like I don't want to do that. Just let me cut out.
Let me run. I'm fast, and I know how to look scared. You like,
you know what? I told somebody else about you. I think it was 50. I told him about you talking about you got killed, and you're like, why you ain't getting up to fight? I was dead, sir. Oh my God. I'm talking about so many of y'all from DePaul. And when y'all see me, they're gonna be like, oh, that's him. Like,
That's the glory is though, man. We had, speaking of unity, bro, like that's what I'm talking. That's why it's so disappointing sometimes to hear other Black people say certain things. We didn't even know each other like that, but we all came together like that at DePaul, man. Like that was a very tight Black unit at that predominantly white university, dude. Like we had something special, man. Like we really did.
Yes.
We really did.
We did. I was glad to see you all because it was tight, man. Especially we got together, figured out we could throw us a party.
Yeah.
Man, we thought we could throw us a party, boy. And we got somewhere to go, boy. We was gonna have that floor jumping. The whole floor gonna be jumping, boy.
Man, like you know them classic moments, bro. Them classic moments. Bro.
Oh, wait, we gotta do one though. We gotta get a nice spot, and we gonna do it. As soon as we get past this COVID, we gotta get a big enough spot, and we got to go do it one time for those. We gotta do it. We got Dion go DJ. Dion DJing now too. So we gotta have Freaky D gotta come through, man.
I just talked to Dion the other day. But anyway.
He got his daughter. He told you about his daughter?
Yeah, that's why he called me. His daughter doing music. She's dope too, man. She's good.
Yes, she is.
She's very good.
Yes, she is.
Very good.
Yes, she is. I said, Now I bet you straighten up, Dion. Oh, we remember when. Now you got a daughter, boy.
Wait till he see this.
Yeah, boy. Oh, yes. I just don't want his daughter to see this, boy. She got
we can't have you know what I'm saying. Shout out to Tay Mystique. That's her name. That's the name she goes by. But anyway.
Cold blood.
I'm gonna get you out of here soon, man. But I think I want to ask you this. It's totally different from what we've been talking about. And you don't have to reveal what you do, but I am pretty sure that you designed your own system of how to write and to kick scripts out in a decent amount of time so that they don't take you as long. Is that correct?
Yeah, you got them inside secrets.
Yeah, I didn't say reveal what you do. I just said you confirming it. I was gonna say, well, one, confirm that that's true, and two, have you ever thought about thinking of packaging that and selling it as a system?
My mother been on me for so long about doing that, and I was on this. I was like, Mama, I didn't come out here for that. If it happens, so be it. I would teach people the system. I taught them. I would teach them all the time, whether using it out to them. I never packed because my mind was, I got to get these scripts, get myself in position so I can do other things.
Right.
So yeah, I had the system, but it taught me though, because in Hollywood, when they find out you write fast, they don't want to give you the bonus money. See, they think just because you write fast, you ain't using that same energy. You got to burn that energy still to do it.
Right.
You're right. So there's another guy that put me on to it. My boy, who was a big paid writer. Oh my God. He was like, tell your boy, finish it, put it on the shelf, turn it in by 2 weeks early. Don't be turning in no month and something early, because you might be cheating yourself out of $175, $200 something.
Really?
Yeah, man. The bonus money, hey, you get in the rewrite business, you can clear like 10 mil in a year.
Okay.
That's just fixing all the crap they already got.
Yeah.
Which is a great, if you get, you know what I mean? Because I slowed to me a while to go that way, but I slowly slid. I'm like right on the cusp of joining that little section. I wanted to be, I put me there all day and give me a script you already like. I just got to fix it.
Okay.
What?
So,
oh my God.
Well, here's my idea. You're going to teach me the system. I'm going to package it. It's going to be called the HP 3000. They're going to give you no credit. And I'm going to say that I honed it, that I crawled it up. I spent countless nights coming up with it.
There you go. Now you ready for the game right there, boys. That's how they do. They'll do you just like that. You like, wait a minute, what?
Right.
Yeah, we'll do it. But one day I might, but I still teach it for free. If they want to use it, then fine. Because I want them to make it, because the more me selling it is just me making that money and that's it. But if they go on and climb up the ladders, when I need to get to that next piece on my rope not long enough, guess who should be dropping me that rope?
There you go.
A lot of, you know what I mean? A lot of them they're gonna go and spread out, and you forget sometimes, like, oh, straight. Oh, you owe me one? Okay, cool. Then put me on. That's a whole lot better than sitting there collecting all this money man. Yeah, maybe later if it came to that, but I probably would still end up teaching it for free. Because
you're a good dude, Kirk. And this will be my last thing for you, man. we already know what you working heavily with 50 and you got a couple of shows under your belt, but I told you I know about some of your personal scripts. For you personally, what would you like to accomplish next in that screenwriting world?
I want to build up. I want to be able to distribute and stuff like A24 does. They're able to take, because then I can get more stories from us that we can get out there for people to see.
Mm-hmm.
So my next one, as I build up, I will direct. I do want to direct some, but the top thing is to be able to become a house where you got, whatever you need coming out, a whole media content. I tell them I'm like Home Depot. You come in like, I need this script. I like go down aisle 6. I need it, you know what I mean? Where you want virtual reality. I got some stuff for virtual reality. Just to become a bigger media content house and just keep moving up like that we control a lot of that media and able to tell some other stories that don't normally get told. So so I'm all up. Oh man, I want to just keep doing that. Without have a studio, if we got enough money, we do it. Yes, let's do a studio. Be like Tyler, get with Tyler. Let's get this stuff made. Let's do it.
I came front. I gotta applaud Tyler Perry, man. That's so dope that he bought that studio that used to be a former Confederate fort, whatever it was. But that's amazing. That's an amazing talk about how stories come full circle. That's an amazing.
Yeah.
Actually, I just lied to you because I just said full circle. It reminded me. That guy you said when you first met with 50 that you didn't like, how did it come full circle? You said he come back around in the story. If you feel comfortable sharing it.
Well, he's not gonna care. 50. The guy that was that way, and I never had a personal interaction. It was about his spirit. It's something about it. I'm still one of the people that how I feel your vibe is how I move. And it became the same person who started the whole give me my money by Monday. The whole thing that 50 had to start give me my money by Monday.
Yeah.
That same guy was the one. That was the guy.
Are you serious?
That is the guy. I thought it was something about him when I met him. I didn't really like the way he moved. There's something about his energy. I just never cared for it. And all that time I was like, there's a couple other things in there that I won't mention that he was involved contract wise. And I was like, oh, you got the wrong one for that. But after all that time, sometimes you sit back, you don't even got to get nobody back. The universe and the spirits will take care of it.
Absolutely. Well, I was going to say, that's it, bro, man. I appreciate you spending your time.